Hey everyone, and welcome. We all want something more, right? Maybe it's a better job, a deeper relationship, or just a little more financial breathing room. But what if the secret wasn't just about hustling harder, but about harnessing the power of your own mind? Today we're going to dive deep into the very popular and pretty controversial world of manifestation.
That's the huge question, isn't it? It's the core promise of this whole thing. The idea that your inner world, what you believe, what you focus on, how you feel, can actually shape the world around you. It's incredibly powerful stuff. So let's break down the philosophy that makes it all tick.
At the very heart of manifestation is something called the law of attraction. The simplest way to think about it is like attracts like. Whatever energy you're putting out there through your thoughts, your feelings, is what you're going to get back. Now, this isn't a new idea. It's got roots in a lot of old spiritual traditions, but it has absolutely exploded in modern self-help.
So what's the big promise here? Well, the idea is that you can use this law to consciously draw specific things into your life. We're talking money, a new career, even finding your soulmate. It's basically presented as this kind of personal toolkit for building the life you've always dreamed of.
But, and this is a really important point that proponents always make, this is not about just sitting on your couch and wishing for a winning lottery ticket to magically appear. The real key, they say, is combining that focused, positive intention with actual real-world action. It's a dynamic process, not a passive one.
Okay, so how do people actually do this? It's not as vague and floaty as you might think. Believers use a set of really specific, practical techniques. Let's call it the Manifestation Toolkit. We're going to look at 3 of the most popular tools in the kit. It all starts with getting super clear on your goal with an intention statement. Then you make it visual and tangible with a vision board. And finally, you bring it to life inside your own head through emotional visualization, which is all about feeling the success before it's even happened.
This first one, the intention statement, is so powerful because it makes you define exactly what you want. The idea is to repeat it every single day to really focus your mental energy. It's all based on this one simple premise. Energy flows where attention goes. So by constantly aiming your attention, you're essentially telling your brain, hey, pay attention to this.
And check out this real-world example. A woman named Jessica was feeling pretty lonely, so she created this very specific intention. She focused on it every day and she started noticing more chances to be social. She ended up joining a book club, and through that new circle of friends, she eventually met the man who would become her husband. And it all kicked off with this one clear, focused thought.
So is this all just, wishful thinking? Or could there be something real going on here? This is where it gets really fascinating because some of these techniques actually line up pretty well with what we know about psychology. Let's take a look at what might be happening inside your brain.
Okay, deep inside your brainstem, there's this thing called the reticular activating system, or RAS for short. Think of it like a bouncer for your brain. It decides what information gets your attention. You know how when you decide you want a certain kind of car, you suddenly start seeing it everywhere? That's your RAS in action. So when you set a clear intention, you're pretty much programming your RAS. You're telling it, hey, this is important now. And then your brain starts to filter reality differently, helping you spot opportunities related to your goal that you would have completely missed before.
And this ties in perfectly with the power of visualization. Neuroscience has shown that when you vividly imagine doing something, your brain fires up many of the same neural pathways as when you're actually doing it. This is called mental rehearsal, and it's why elite athletes spend so much time visualizing their performance. They're priming their brains for success before they even hit the field. And get this, the effect isn't just in your head. A study from the Cleveland Clinic is pretty wild. They had people just visualize exercising a muscle without actually moving it. The result? They saw a 13.5% increase in muscle strength compared to a group that did nothing. That is a real, measurable, physical change driven entirely by thought.
So really what this all boils down to is a well-known psychological concept, the self-fulfilling prophecy. If you genuinely believe you're going to succeed, you are way more likely to behave in ways that make that success happen. You'll put in the extra study time. You'll walk into that interview with more confidence. You'll push through when things get tough, all because your core belief is driving your actions.
Okay, but let's be real. While the psychology is super compelling, we have to talk about the other side of the coin. The whole philosophy of manifestation has some serious critics and some pretty big potential downsides. So let's get a more balanced view here.
And the short answer is absolutely not. Critics argue that when you take the law of attraction to its extreme, it can become overly simplistic and, frankly, kind of harmful. Because when things don't go your way, the philosophy can lead you to some really damaging conclusions.
Critics usually point to three major problems. First, there's confirmation bias, where you only notice the signs that support what you want, and you ignore all the evidence to the contrary. Second, and this is a big one, is the potential for self-blame. If you get sick or lose your job, the logic suggests it's because you weren't positive enough. And third, it can lead to ignoring reality, totally overlooking huge systemic issues like poverty, inequality, or just plain old bad luck, things that are often way beyond one person's control.
So, where does that leave us? How do we take the useful psychology without falling into the pitfalls? Well, the most helpful approach seems to be a balanced one, using these manifestation techniques as a powerful tool for motivation, not as a replacement for action and a solid grip on reality.
I think this quote just nails it. The law of attraction works if you work it. The work isn't just the thinking part, it's the doing part. It's that daily mental focus plus the dedicated real-world effort. Your mindset might be the fuel in the tank, but you still have to get behind the wheel and drive.
And this really highlights the huge difference between wishful thinking and focused action. One is completely passive, the other is active. So instead of just hoping you get rich, you set a clear financial goal. Instead of just waiting for a lucky break, you use visualization to stay motivated while you make a plan, learn new skills, and actively go after the opportunities that your newly tuned brain is now helping you see.
Which kind of leaves us with this one big question to chew on. When you strip away all the mystical language and just look at the psychological tools, setting clear goals, visualization, keeping a positive mindset, taking consistent action, is manifestation just a new, trendier name for focused ambition? Maybe it's just a really powerful way to package good old-fashioned determination. Definitely something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me.